Accept your death.
Alright, Bonehawks, this video is all about NRS. Today I'm going to rank all of their games, and we're actually going to do two tier lists today. We're going to do one based purely on just the gameplay, what I think is the funnest to play versus the least fun to play, and then the second tier list is going to be just my thoughts on the overall game. These are my opinions. Yours may be different. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. Either way, we're going to start with, in my opinion, the most fun gameplay in the NRS series, okay? And this easily goes to Mortal Kombat 1. Gameplay alone, the cameo system, the amount of characters, the balance, it's had its moments for sure at times with DLC characters, they usually do. But overall, this game is insanely fun, and there's so many things to explore and do, and certain deep cameos like Shujinkydink and Darius and all that kind of stuff. I think Mortal Kombat 1 is on the top of my list as far as fun gameplay goes. I wish Quan Chi was better, but I will say, even though Quan Chi is like low tier in this game, he is super fun. He is his pretty fun character, and he zones in a very unique way, and I appreciate that about this game. So, yeah, Mortal Kombat 1, most fun to play. Second for me would be Injustice 2. Injustice 2, I think, is a fantastically fun game. Can get a little dry sometimes with like how long the maps are and that kind of thing. I won't even say really zoning, really. It's just kind of, the spacing game can be kind of meh sometimes. But I mean, similar to Mortal Kombat 1, balance is super good. I mean, about as good as fighting games at the time could be. Lots of interesting characters. DLC was done really well. It was just a fantastic game. So, yeah. Injustice 2, I don't really know what else to say about that. I kind of hope we get Injustice 3 next. I'm a Mortal Kombat fan at heart, don't get me wrong, but, for everyone that loves Injustice out there and likes the series, I think that they could make a pretty sick Injustice 3 game, especially after the lessons they learned from Mortal Kombat 1. So, let's hold out for that. So, next in line on my tier list here is Mortal Kombat 9. Mortal Kombat 9 was a game that was not balanced at all. Had a bunch of crazy stuff that went on with it, Cabal and Cyrax and all that stuff, but because there was so much like chaotic stuff, it almost made it like more fun. It was just, everybody's broken, everyone could do some crazy shit except for like maybe Kano was like, and Striker. Those two characters were okay, not very great in the overall aspect of that. But I didn't play them. Actually, that's a lie. I actually got to grand finals of a side tournament using Striker at Devastation. I think it was me and Detroit Ballin in the finals. I lost, but I remember him saying, like, who the hell plays this character? Why are you playing this character? It was a super fun event. I think I won a pair of 3D glasses because we had to play. Oh, that's right. The tournament was in 3D. So this was like one of the first things that came out, like fighting games that was in 3D. So you had to compete in the tournament using these 3D glasses. Yeah, it was weird. I don't remember it being that spectacular, but it's a thing that happened. Core memory I kind of forgot about. There we go. Next on this list is Mortal Kombat X. And the combo pathing in this game is incredible. It's some of the best the NRS has ever done. It's just far and away fantastic combos. If you like combos, this is the game for you. If you like actually playing a game, maybe not so much. There's just way too much guessing, emphasis on guessing, crazy plus frames, crazy mids. It's just not a fun game to competitively play for me. I just don't like it. I don't know what to say. It's fun to go back and mess around in practice mode and that kind of thing, but as soon as I get online and I get mixed, which, I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here because no one could mix quite like Quan Chi and, armored mix and all that kind of stuff. So I'm aware of my hypocrisy here. But I don't know. It's just not my style of game. Not really how I like to play these fighting games, every fighting game has guessing to some extent, but this is like the core value. And one of the things that's like super fun for me about fighting games is the neutral game. And there was no neutral in this game. Between teleports and the run button, nobody was playing any neutral. It was just auto run into mix. So not really my idea of fun. But the combos, like I said, combo pathing was good. You could sit in practice mode for hours coming up with all sorts of different combo paths. So that was a definite win on NRS's part. This leaves our bottom two. And next is Injustice Gods Among Us. Broken ass game. 100% combos. The interactables were like, this was NRS's first time at doing a lot of this stuff. Pretty much everything they did with this game was brand new, and it was very apparent. It was very apparent. It was, yeah, kind of a shit show. But again, I played Martian Manhunter, so I mean, I didn't have to worry about most of it. But because the gameplay was so broken and like so many back-to-block mixes in their first back-to-block game, yeah, not really a lot of fun in my opinion. Which leaves, obviously, the last one as MK11. Just not fun. Not fun gameplay at all. All the characters did the same thing. Super strike throw heavy. You had the breakaway that would punish you for hitting a combo. It had so much potential with, like, variation system and, like, the things that they wanted to do and making custom variations. That had the potential to be so cool. But because of kind of what they did with just the base game and dulling everybody down to like one playstyle, really kind of ruined any chance of that coming out on top and, you know, being a fun time. Super bland. I'm glad it's over. I will likely never play it again. So yeah, it's on the bottom of my list right now. So that's my list based on how fun I think the games are to play. Now I'm going to rank them again on the complete package. What everything that came with the game, you know, how well was it launched, how many things did you have to do, gameplay a little bit in it, but I'm going to push that down to the bottom a little bit now because I want to focus on the entire scope of the game and kind of what they gave you. So let's get into this. Alright, so starting things off, first, I think Mortal Kombat 11 actually had, just as a whole package, had everything. It had, you know, your Combat League. I believe that was the first game that came out with that. You had your Towers of Time. You had a fun crypt adventure. It introduced little things like sitting in practice mode while you're waiting in the King of the Hill. That was huge, you know. I believe this was the debut of Forever King. There were just so many good things with this game that came out, like when the game launched, aside from the gameplay. And even towards the end of the game's life, I found myself going back and playing the Towers of Time and keeping an eye on, like, which character's tower is up at what time, and making sure that I collect all of the gear for my characters as much as I could. I did find some gear pieces are kind of like, why is that there? You can hardly notice that, or whatever, but yeah, more customization is always a good thing in my opinion. Next on my list is actually Mortal Kombat 9. These next two are pretty close. If you switched them, I wouldn't argue for them. But MK9, one of the big things for me was the Challenge Tower. That was a huge thing that... It was really difficult. 300 challenges. You got that sick Melina skin at the end if you actually beat it. And the final, like, 3 bosses were ridiculous. Those were so crazy. On top of that, you had a crypt. It wasn't as forward as, like, some of the future Mortal Kombat ones were. You had the crypt, and you had tag mode as well. So for a game that was, like, the first NRS game, it actually came with, like, a lot of bells and whistles and a lot of things that you could do to keep yourself occupied outside of playing online. And, like, how many people remember sitting in that theater with your little emoji guy, like sitting, if you're on Xbox, it had your little Xbox dude, and if it was on PlayStation, you had to pick it like a character or whatever, and you could like throw tomatoes at the screen and stuff like that. That was really fun. Many late nights spent sitting in that thing just watching some Mortal Kombat. King of the Hill at its peak, in my opinion. Next here is Mortal Kombat X, and again, you have some nice online modes. We have this was the first time they actually did like a cinematic crypt, you know, so that was kind of fun. And a couple things like adding Nemesis online and for your ranked and whatnot, that was kind of cool. But that's kind of where it stopped. There wasn't really a whole lot else to do in that game, other than do combos like I mentioned before. But yeah, I think that the idea of the challenge tower and like some tag combos slightly edge out MKX. I will say though, MKX's script was done really, really well. I had a lot of fun, except for the jump scares. I could do away with the jump scares, but after a while, you kind of get used to the timing. It's not so scary, but I'm just a guy that just does not like jump scares at all. And the next one here is Injustice 2, and honestly, Injustice 2 had a lot of things to do, but I think I kind of find myself in a lot of mindset of a lot of people is the things that you were doing were extremely grindy to like unlock things. And perhaps, I get that it's, it's something to do for the offline player. So I kind of get that, but a lot of it just wasn't fun. It was like, things I had to do to force me. I never did get like the ultimate, red gear piece or whatever for I think any of my characters because it was just too damn grindy. It was cool that it was in there, but accessing it was just a little bit too much. And then outside of that, it was just your gameplay. And if there was anything else, I didn't go back to check any of these. I'm doing this all by memory because I feel like that's kind of a good point. Like nothing memorable else happened in this game. They had the multiverse, that was cool, whatever. Too grindy for me. And then sitting there, unlocking mother box after mother box after mother box, you get like a billion of these things just to get maybe like 1 or 2 gear pieces that you would actually use. So as well, Injustice 2 was like a huge improvement over Injustice 1. It just still, as far as being a complete game and stuff to do, just didn't really do it for me. And then the bottom 2 here, so we have Injustice Gods Among Us, which, I mean, yeah, it was a product of its time. There wasn't really anything to do, really, in this game. If there was, it's not memorable to me at all. Rather than go on, do the story, then go play your friends. Which is, I say product of the time, but then MK9 came out before it, and it had way more stuff. So I think they were just focusing a lot of energy on the back-to-block system and making sure that the clash and all that kind of stuff worked good, instead of adding a bunch of features. Which is fine, I guess. It didn't really turn out that great, but, it is what it is. And then finally on the bottom is MK1, really reverting a lot of the things that we have in MK11. If MK1 had half the stuff that MK11 has, it would probably be number 1, honestly. But I mean, we don't even have lobbies for the game. It's missing very basic things. I don't have to go into too much detail here, you know what I'm talking about. But it's just missing too many basic things to even be considered a complete release. That's why it's the bottom. I don't even consider it a complete release. We got Towers of Time a year into the game being out. So, that's it. Let me know your comments down below. Let me know how you feel. If this ranking is similar to how you feel on both of them. Or if you would change some things, or what order you have them in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, because it really helps me out. And subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.